ladies and gentlemen, the next panel discussion for the day is on the topic Omni-Channel Retail Opportunities and Challenges. And to moderate the session, we have with us Ms. Pooja Dhawan from Shopper Stock. With 15 years of pro retail experience, Pooja is responsible for developing the Omni-Channel strategy for the organization through cross-functional team leadership. Pooja, welcome. And joining her are our panel members. Our first panel member, Mr. Kashyap Mehta, Head E-Commerce Infinity Retail Limited. He comes with strong 360-degree experience of working in various critical e-commerce functions like internet marketing, product category management, and operations. Also we have with us Mr. Shivnandan Pare, who is the Head of E-Commerce for Madura, with 10 years of experience in setting up and operations business in verticals across internet, media and entertainment, investment banking and retail. We have Ms. Gurmeet Kaur, Head of Digital and International Business for Good Earth, with 18 years of experience building successful iconic brands globally in retail and wholesale channels of distribution. And we have Mr. Rajiv Nair, CEO of Future Fashion Limited, with 18 years of retail experience. He has worked with Hypercity, Shopper Stock before joining Celio. We have Mr. Sandeep Singh, co-founder and CEO of Agriculture. Sandeep was highly commended in the digital industry as a talented professional with acute business acumen in digital marketing, brand management, advertising and modern retail. And our final panel member, Mr. Abhishek Shah from Excella, a serial e-commerce entrepreneur immensely passionate about the power of internet as a game changer. Ladies and gentlemen, our panel members are all set. A round of applause, please. And Pooja, over to you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Sorry to make this quick because I have something to be complete. I think my panel in advance, I think we've got a brilliant mix of guys who come from offline and are now trying to venture online, and guys who are coming the other way around from online and are now trying to get physical. Our topic today is omni-channel retail and what are the challenges and opportunities we see in India. Very quickly, we're going to lay down a few ground rules, and basis that we're going to start our discussion. And just some figures for you to run through. This is out of the top 150 retailers in the US. If you see, the larger guys today are the retail brands. The fastest growing retailers in the last decade with a CAGR an average of about 48%. If you see the list, they're all retail chains or they are brand manufacturers like some of you. Except of course for Amazon, but besides that, the big guys are your retail brands. How is it going to pan out in India is what we're going to speak today. And so we don't waste much time on what omni-channel is. We've all concluded on this is the definition we're going to run with for this discussion. Omni-channel is nothing but with lines getting blurred between channels. How a brand delivers a cohesive brand experience to its customer is what omni-channel is. And with that, so I'm going to, am I audible? Hi. So I'm going to start my discussion with why is an omni-channel strategy required in the first place for Indian entrepreneurs, and what omni-channel strategies why is an omni-channel strategy required in the first place, and what omni-channel strategies have you adopted in your respective organizations, and what has worked well? So we're going to run through with everybody's experiences on this.
Thanks, Pooja. Good afternoon, everybody. So we are in between you and lunch, but I'm sure we'll make it interesting. The topic is pretty interesting for all of us. I think the reason for going omni-channel or why omni-channel is required, is it really a necessary thing which all brands or retailers should adopt? I think the push is coming from the consumer. So the two things, according to me, which are driving this is basically one is the digital ecosystem, which has grown exponentially around us. So consumers have connected devices, consumers are connected through multi-channels. So the traditional purchase behavior, which is consumer will get aware about a product through advertisement, go to the retail store, buy it out, has totally changed. It's gone for a toss. The channel is meshed up now. Consumer would want to buy on one channel, do a research on the other channel, he'll do a demo in the store, go out and buy it online. To an extent where he'd want to, buy from one channel or one device and track his purchase on another device. So, as the consumer is changing, he is moving from one channel to another. As brands and retailers, we have to embrace, what the customer is demanding, and we can't ignore it. Can't ignore that fact that customer is, moving across channels, and if you're not relevant and contextual to the customer at the point of purchase or at the point of decision making, you will lose out because the customer will switch channels at his ease and convenience. So as brands, we need to be present seamlessly across all channels.
On that note, I also want to tell you that Sandeep represents Free Culture and one of the first brands, online brands, to actually foray into physical retail. So whilst Sandeep talks about his experience of what they're doing and why they're doing, and those are the omni-channel strategies they put in place, we also have a video to show you.
This is a quick snapshot of how we are building our omni-channel strategy. So I'll speak along as the video plays. So this is our store. We just opened 4 stores across Delhi, NCR, and one in Chandigarh. So this is our store in Saket. Just music a little loud. So our objective is to build on small stores. The retail infrastructure, the costs are huge, so we want to build small stores. And through those small stores, create a physical connect. We have created an application called Tap Shop. So it's a touchscreen app which is in the stores, and customers can actually browse the entire catalog which is available online. I think very critical to the success of Omni-Channel that you have a live inventory. Customers can discover, pair and shop. We've created a wireless technology where you can pick and scan a product and it automatically comes on the screen. You can see what other colors are available, you can add to your cart. You can also pair it with, so we tell you what it goes well with. So it's the suggestion app or the suggestion widget which you see on the website. So you can pair it with any other product. And then the entire idea is to combine the convenience and selection of online and deliver the experience of offline. Which is the tactile experience, the brand experience that the customer would want to get. And then you do a cash on delivery or pay on counter, or the traditional cash on delivery on the internet. You put in your addresses, you put in your the way you check out on the internet, and choose to pay at the counter or get it delivered to your doorstep. Very interesting aspect of this is that even if you're doing a physical purchase, you're buying at the store. Since it's all integrated for us, you can go home and call up our customer care and we'll pick it up from your doorstep. So we have built the digital infrastructure first. So it's very easy for us to do the last mile connectivity and get the exchanges picked up from your doorstep. So this is an initiative in the right direction. I think too much to do still for us in terms of getting the CRM integrated, get the customer information integrated across both the channels. But I think this is how Omni-Channel will evolve, where the customer experience has to be very, very seamless and very, very integrated.
I think it's very interesting. All the challenges of physical retail are immense, and I'm sure you're learning that along the way. So on that note, I'd like to move to Kashyap. Kashyap, what kind of omni-channel strategies have you put in place at Chroma?
Good afternoon, everyone. Pooja, I'm sure you're going to ask us a lot of questions today in this 45 minutes. And I'm sure after that, even the audience are going to be asking us a lot of questions. I just want to, take this opportunity, and I would want you to allow me to ask one single question to this audience. How many of you out over there, so omni-channel has become like a jargon, I would say. What I want to ask out the audience is how many of you actually understand what omni-channel means in a retail world. So some of you are not going to be allowed to answer this. I want this to be answered from one of the audience, and it may take a minute, I suppose. Please raise your hand, anyone who would want to express their views about what omni-channel is.
You could also repeat the last slide that I had up there.
Yeah, out there.
It's the experience of brand offline, online, various digital properties like gaming, getting into various themes where a brand can go into. So we make films. So we are working on extending the brand beyond films. So it be the experience of gaming, be it experience, be it product, be it e-com.
Great. So you're talking about one unified experience. Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. Perfect. So, Pooja, to answer your question quickly, that why omni-channel is required, one has to take it up seriously. Uh, to extend what this gentleman said, is consumer is evolving, and consumer is continuously evolving. The pace at which the consumer is evolving is far, far more rapid. Omni-channel is required because today there are so many screens that consumer touches every day in their life. It starts from a mobile phone to a tablet to a laptop to a TV or whatever. When a consumer is moving from one screen to another screen, what consumer today needs, today's consumer he needs to be recognized wherever he goes as one single customer with one single moment of truth. So omni-channel actually delivers that, which means all your backend needs to be integrated, irrespective wherever the consumer is moving. If ABC is coming to a web, to a tab, to a mobile, or to a physical store, he needs to be recognized as one single customer. So that's primarily a thin line difference between multi-channel and omni-channel. Multi-channel could be, you are setting up different channels, but each channel working in silos. Versus omni-channel, all seamlessly integrated onto the backend, giving a single moment of truth to the customer. Worldwide, yes, Western world has started moving on towards it, and it's been identified that the moment the retailer starts giving that type of an experience, the stickiness, the loyalty of the customer to your format increases by threefolds. It adds up to a frequent purchase, it adds up to a larger shopping cart value, and that's why omni-channel is required. So every retailer definitely needs to understand this, and already I think Western world has started moving towards it. One quick thing which I would want to put up over here is I'm not sure how many of us are reading about what's happening out over there. Best Buy, who definitely falls in line into the business of our category, has gone through tough days and is still going through tough days, difficult to recover. They didn't realize overnight what slapped them.
So what are the specific strategies that Chroma has put in place to get into that?
Yeah, so what we are working towards is step one is how do we integrate all our channels. So today we got e-com, today we got brick presence, to an extent we got a mobile presence. So how do we integrate these channels and provide a unified view to the customer? Along with that, coupled with services which consumer can consume with a combination of an online, offline kind of a model. So that's what we have built, we are working towards it. I think the journey has just started. Lots more to go out over there.
Thanks. Gurmeet, can you share with us what you've done at Good Earth specifically with respect to omni-channel?
Hi. So in terms of omni-channel, we've spent 18 years building the brand, and one of the key USPs for us is our relationship with our customer. We really, really work hard at it, and 80% of our customers are return customers, and we wanted to make sure that other than offline, they have a place that they can go to, and we weren't there yet. So the first step was really establishing an online store, and we're working very rapidly to catch up and make sure that they can find us in other places as well. One of the things that we've done on our retail side is we've developed a small little app on a tablet. It's iPad based, and it's going to be launched soon. And what that does is that anytime a customer walks into our store, and if you know them, you can type in their name, you can look up their history very quickly, you can see what they've bought, you can greet them, and also look up inventory of what they want. So we're trying to do multiple things over here, but we're new to the game, we're just trying to catch up at the moment.
So at that note, I want to bring Shiva in. I want to ask Shiva, she said we're all new to this part of the world, whilst pure players have been here for a while and ruling the roost. So Shiva, my question is, which most of us have asked in the corridors between yesterday and today, why haven't the big guys gotten serious about omni-channel yet? what are the challenges that make them apprehensive about actually putting omni-channel strategies in place and launching with a big bang?
Yeah, hi guys, good afternoon. So I think the thing is, everybody is thinking, the biggest challenge for them is that do you really, when they look at this, when they start hearing about Omni-Channel and all, they say कि हम सब कुछ करके चलेंगे. That is the biggest challenge. But then in reality it may not happen that way. Because first, I mean, you need not wait for doing everything like Kashyap put in, pick up from store, drop from store. Probably to build that it may take a lot of time because a lot of these big players have a huge legacy system behind. Building on top of that becomes a challenge. And this whole thought process ki, if we don't do everything, we can't start. It's a larger mindset challenge. First of all, I think they all recognize, we all big players recognize that the consumer is moving there. That's the reality which we all have to live in. So it can be built step by step, which probably at the big retailer side, they are not able to take that step of, let me take one baby step and then build this.
So the question is, why not? What stops them? What are the challenges that they're foreseeing?
I guess a lot of big players get trapped in their own mindset that they are too big, they have to do everything right from the first step, which is not a reality in digital world. Like somebody told me, it's not about being awesome in digital world, it's about being flawsome. So try, take those steps, build it, and then learn from it and start scaling. Now that's a trap I think a lot of big retailers fall into, that and unfortunately they don't treat themselves that they are new to this system, this playground, and they start comparing themselves with already the big guys and say, from day one I have to beat them. For example, if somebody says that a multi-brand retailer says that I want to beat Flipkart day one, now it is not possible, it's accepted. But the whole mindset in the big corporate world would be that no, I'm so big here, I will become so big from day one.
So you're saying it's really mindset change which is probably the largest hurdle. So I'm going to bring Abhishek in. Abhishek, you're meeting with clients, you're meeting with the traditional retailers now. How do you interpret their apprehensions? What are the top 3 reasons why they're not making a splash?
Hi everyone. So I think from my experiences, I come from a digital media background. So 5 years back, we were all struggling in the digital media on selling digital as a concept. So when the media plan happens, digital was not part of the plan. Right? I think a very similar thing we are experiencing with e-commerce or Omni-Channel today. The brands are not thinking digital as a part of their merchandising, as a part of their business strategy. So again, like Kashyap mentioned, Omni-Channel is different from multi-channel. Right? So selling on MBOs, I personally don't consider that as Omni-Channel. Right? So I think the basic issue is also that are the brands ready from a DNA perspective, from a commitment perspective. I don't think it is just a issue of capability or execution. Like Shiva mentioned, the execution will happen in phases, which is fine. But I think the biggest challenge which we are still facing is, are Indian brands ready for an omni-channel strategy? Are they willing to commit to it? And I think the second question is, once they commit to it, do they have the capability? So can everyone build a Flipkart? Can everyone build the same technology, the same consumer experience? Similarly, offline you see distributors, you see retailers who do part of the business, right? When you do omni-channel, you don't need to do everything yourself, because that is practically not possible. So that's where again it's a mindset issue where a lot of the large brands may want to do everything themselves, and like Shiva mentioned, do it on day one. So I think that's a disaster.
I'm hearing a lot of mindset and DNA. Do you think investment might have something to play in this? Rajiv, and I'd like to get you in on this. We do know that traditional retailers are always looking at, any business should look at profitability. And in that sense, with the bloodbath that they're seeing out there, do you think that is also a large hindrance in why they're not taking it up seriously?
Honestly, I think investment comes at a much later stage. I think it's first the realization of what you really want to do and what's your goal in the digital space. Everybody's talking so much about digital, What's important for brands like ours, and we are a brand we started off about 4 years ago. We did everything that was required to be done as a pure play retailer. Okay, now I think for us it's the phase 2, and the phase 2 for people like us has come in the first 4 years of working in India as a pure play retailer. Now, for us, I think what is important is the strategic milestones that we need to set as a brand with a size of between 100 to 200 crores of turnover. I think it's important for us to really assess what's the best way to move forward. One of the things that I don't think anybody talks about is there is a case around legislations in India where pure play companies which are FDI approved are not allowed to get into e-commerce space. So technically I cannot be on e-commerce space. But am I waiting for the time that this particular thing is going to change? Maybe not. The first thing that I started doing about a couple of years ago with my organization is to start thinking digital as an organization. I started off social media from scratch about 2 years ago. We have about 200,000 members on social media. So some of the stuff that I was talking to on the sidelines with Kashyap was how you can first start building interest about your brand on the internet and start sharing the right amount of information about your brand and your products, and how the online space can make the offline space more interesting to buy and easier to buy. So for example, a lot of product information goes into even our Facebook page. We get a lot of interest, we get a lot of information and stuff like that. That's one. Second is, I think what we also said is the fact that we have an X number of customers who are coming to the store today who are more social, more digital. Everyone carries a smartphone into the store, and we are predominantly menswear brand. So also the interest in technology is a lot more than women. I'm sure things are changing. But what's actually happened is the fact that we also said, as being a digital organization, we also need to be working on this social space that the consumer is creating using a smartphone. So we were probably the first guys about 6-8 months ago. We started off a digital loyalty program, which is called the Save Your Fantastic program, which was completely on the mobile platform. What it did for us is in about 6 months' time, we have about 60,000 members. In the space of a small brand, I think 60,000 members who are transacting with you is very important. So what we do is use these members to actually use social communication to pass on a lot of information that we provide to them, to their friends. And in the bargain, they also get some points, they also get some benefits in the store. So while I cannot be a pure play e-tailer at the moment, I'm actually using digital media to create a lot of interest into the physical infrastructure of stores. The third part is, while I cannot be on digital space at the moment as an e-tailer, I can definitely partner with a lot of people that I'm doing at the moment in the physical space. So we are definitely working on marketplace models. We are also working on partner models where we are selling products to e-tailers, and we are already starting to see some traction. So I would say, all constraints given, I think it's important for us to have a long-term milestone or a goalpost and to start working towards creating a digital element within our organization. And I think there are challenges around it. For example, what kind of organization do you set up within a physical retail brand store into becoming a future digital or a future e-commerce company? So I think that's something that we are grappling with at the moment, but we are newbies in the game at the moment.
So for brands who are not legally bound, Indian brands, if they're considering should I not, should I have a website, should I go mobile first? Shiva, what are your inputs? What should they be looking at?
I think the debate is over about should I not. If you are not there, then you are dead. So the time frame will be very different for different people. But then you have, because consumer has moved, that's the reality. Now, mobile, desktop, laptop is a device. Consumer has moved to shopping non-physical. Let me put it this way. Mobile definitely. Let me share something which we are experiencing in trendin.com, which is our online portal for all Madura brands. 30% of our business comes from tier 3 towns where we do not have physical stores. So Madura, all the 5 brands are very strong in men apparel kind of clothing, branded clothing. And that is also because we moved first into EBOs in this country. We built that experience. So we also realized that 3 years, 4 years back, that consumers moving to digital space. So now we need to be here. Let's try to build it. And coming back to the 30% from tier 3, interesting part is 70% of that business is coming from mobile with an ARP which is higher than desktop and laptop. That is a very interesting thing. Because when I speak to the digital bigwigs like Facebook or Google heads, they say this is what they are seeing. 70% of tier 3 consumers are experiencing for the first time internet on mobile. We didn't believe. When we started, while internally as a team we said, we need to do something very, very different for mobile as a platform, as a device. That's what we did in a small way by, customizing the site to the mobile form factor. So this is very interesting. Second thing was, I'm stepping back to the earlier question, this mindset. The challenge in a physically dominant player setting up a digital business is 99.99% of the organization does not believe that people can buy apparel or any stuff online without touching and feeling. Now that's a myth. That's not true. For us, everybody said trouser bikega hi online. Bina try kiye kaun trouser bechega? In 3 months, our trouser tops to bottom ratio, we are a very small player compared to the bigwigs in the online retailing in terms of volume, in terms of traffic. Our trouser to tops bottom, which is all apparel retailers will agree, is 2.5. So shirts is 2.5 times trousers, and that is exactly how it plays offline. While last month we launched this whole differentiation program where we are offering for the first time brand agnostic free alteration for trousers. So in physical store you buy a Peter England trouser, you'll have to walk into the same store to get it altered. But in online we said, he's one consumer. The whole philosophy behind trending.com was it's one consumer, all these 5 brands. So what we launched last month was free alteration for any trouser bought online. You can walk into the nearest branded store. Irrespective of whether it's a Peter England trouser, you can walk into a Louis Philippe store and get it altered. This is where the experience, as I said, when we internally were debating, everybody wants, from a brick and mortar mindset, everybody wants everything to be there as a leader. So we built it. We said we cannot do it. So we take baby steps. This is one step.
So whilst we're taking baby steps and we're moving towards a scenario which looks very rosy, and that's what we've seen in the last 2 days, I'm wondering why would a web-only retailer now want to foray into the physical world? And how easy do you think it is, and what are the challenges? And this, I think no one better than Sandeep to answer this question.
Hello. Yeah. So, very apt question, because everybody is talking about from physical how to go online. So we started our journey online, and then we've started opening our physical stores. I think let me put this into 2 buckets. One is what category we belong to. So we are in the business of brand. We're building an apparel brand. So we went to the drawing board, saying that what is our larger objective. So our larger objective is to connect to our customers and build a very strong brand which has a strong consumer following. And we realized that being in an apparel space, it was a brand which was getting introduced to a lot of customers. So customers didn't know their fit. Customers haven't tried the product. So while a lot of early adopters started buying from us, but there is a fraction of customers which we when we did our research, they loved the product, but they were a little apprehensive to buy. So the tactile part of it and the credibility for the brand, I think being in the physical space, that immediately lends a lot of credibility to the brand. The experience in the physical space is a 3-dimensional experience. So it's just not you seeing a catalog. It's just not you're just ordering it online and getting delivered, and that too through a third-party delivery boy. So you can't control the entire brand experience. If you're purely selling online. With the physical space, you have your trained executives who are talking to the customer. So the brand gets a whole new dimension in the physical space. So we said if you want to build a brand, we have to start building credibility with our customers, and that's the reason why we went offline, to let customers experience our brand and still offer them the convenience of buying it like they would buy it from the online space. The second reason is, we believe in this omni-channel strategy, and we think the world will go to that direction. And the kind of infrastructure we have already built for our e-commerce portal when we started, I think it's a huge leverage for us, because we've built the core in the heart of the omni-channel strategy. And today, if any of the offline retailers, they've built a huge infrastructure from a retail perspective. Right? For them to shrink it up will be very, very difficult. But we have built the core. For us to build the retail infrastructure, keeping that core in mind, will be much easier. And I think it will be much more efficient, because we'll opt for smaller stores. The idea is to how we can showcase inventory or styles worth 3,000 square feet in a 400 square feet shop, and drive a higher PSFPD, which is per square feet sales per day, through a smaller format where the inefficiencies of the physical retail can be countered with, and it results into a much more efficient offline retail model, because our experiences offline, the retail cost of the rentals are really high. So I think all those problems, we would love to solve that problem. Being entrepreneur at heart, I think we all love to solve problems. So we thought that's a big problem which can be solved in the offline retail through technology. So that's why we just jumped into it.
Could we follow your views on this?
Going offline, I think it's a great idea. The way you can showcase your brand and the brand experience offline, it's always difficult translating that online. I mean, for us being offline and now going online, that was one of the challenges. How do we translate that experience? And what we can do in our stores from a 360 perspective. And our founder always believed that when a customer walks into a store, she wants them to have the experience of sound. So she actually selects the playlist herself. Smell. So all our stores have a particular smell twice a day. They do the dhuna thing. It's a traditional thing. And the visual, our VMs are beautiful, and so she really believes in that, and to translate that online is quite a challenge, and that's why we kind of were a little bit late to the game. So if you're going offline, from online to offline, I think it's a great idea. And even brands like Warby Parker, which started only as an online retailer, they have a store in the meatpacking industry. And when you walk in, it's really quite an experience, because you're already familiar with the brand. Now you can actually touch and feel it. So I think the two complement each other, and it goes hand in hand.
Point to this is, if you look at all the online retailers doing really well, Flipkart, Myntra, Jabong, for them the topmost seller is a brand which has been built offline. So it's not that they're selling something else. People are still buying the brands which they love from the platforms which they may choose. So from our perspective in the business we are in, we really wanted to build a brand, and having to connect through online, offline made a lot of sense to us.
It is far easier to focus on just one channel when you're building marketing and technology strategies for your organization. When it's complicated and you're looking cross channels, it's difficult. Have there been any successful examples in the Western world that we can talk about? Kashyap, would you have any example?
Well, there has been definitely, few success case studies globally, if one has to look at. I think, what Harish said today in the morning was that why is it that, traditional brick guys are not realizing, and, there is a far more bigger opportunity for them to really look into translating the model online and, building an omni-channel kind of a model. But globally, if you ask me, web-only retailers are also realizing equally that brick presence is also something which is very critical. So a couple of success studies, has been one of them is Bonobos, which is a clothing retailer, which was a web-only retailer. Started as web-only retailer, soon realized that definitely brick presence, offering a last-mile customer service is required. So they started opening up those boutique small shops, which my friend over here has also started doing. Another success story is Piperline, which is a company of Gap, which which again started as web only brand and moved on to brick. Some of the large e-com players also globally are adopting unique models. Like for example, there is this locker kind of concept which has been built in the Western world, where you order online and your product will be shipped out to the nearest locker. So that's something which Staples has started doing, 7-Eleven has started doing. So yes, it's becoming more and more hybrid, and it's becoming more and more complex as well.
So, having said that, what are the leverages that you think the current brick and mortar companies can use to, quickly get into the omni-channel space?
I think, okay, so let me give an example of Chroma specifically. So, of course, yes, while we don't have tons of VC's money to burn, but we realize that our strength primarily is 100 plus physical stores which we have today on the ground, and there's definitely a significant traction out over there. So what we have built to an extent, and which, as I said, it's a journey, and which we are building more, is basically a connect of online to offline, and even vice versa, which is offline to online. So there are various things, and I'll just quickly jot down a few of them. So things like, you can order online, pick up at nearest Chroma store. That is one service which we already started, already launched, we are seeing a traction. Today, the challenge for an online consumer is one, definitely delivery timelines, two, definitely, faster returns, easy returns. So we started even returns at store. So you can visit nearest Chroma store and return back the product out over there. Third thing is we have built the backend for it, but we are just setting up the logistics model. Is basically starting an express shipping from our nearest stores. So you order anything online till say 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Generally we see the trend that consumers orders online between Monday to Friday when they are in office. So by the time you reach home at 9 p.m. the delivery is there at your doorstep, and that shipping will take place from the nearest store. Another thing that what we are looking at is to build something called as a concierge service. Now, what is concierge service? Today when you buy a smartphone or a tablet, definitely we go to the nearest local small vendor to get that smartphone started. Things like there is a SIM card which you have to cut it, because now all the gadgets needs a micro SIM. Things like what app has to be installed. I will go back to my friend, ask them, or maybe I'll go to my relatives. So we are trying to create a bouquet of these services, which we're going to call it as a concierge service, which a consumer can fix it online, take an appointment at the nearest Chroma store, visit there, and redeem this concierge service. That actually gives an opportunity to the brick stores, because they can do further cross-sells to that customer, knowing that fine, there is no case, there is no scratch guard, they can do this, that's cross-sell. Things like, of course, we know that gift voucher is a big business, correct? I'm sure in Shopstock case as well, it's definitely a big business. So, how do you integrate the blend of online, offline, such that a consumer who has bought a gift voucher online can redeem it offline, or maybe vice versa. And there are a host of other things also which can be done. So, as I said, there are multiple things where you can leverage your brick presence very strongly as well as online.
So in all of this, Abhishek and Rajiv, I'll get your thoughts on this. I'm seeing a lot of structural changes, because brick and mortar companies are structured vertically, and when you're looking at cross-functional support, because here you need a lot of back-end, front-end integration. How tough is that? I'll start with Abhishek and then move to Rajiv. So basically change management within an organization structure.
Yeah, so I think again from a technology perspective, that's technology is never a tough part. Obviously it requires investment, R&D, all of that, but again I think it is from a DNA perspective, right from the merchandising to your customer service, what works in offline does not work in online all the time. So if you're competing with Zobi, or if you're competing with Mintra's private label, the amount of data they are collecting, the real-time merchandising they're able to do, that is themselves so different from what we're doing offline, when you have 2 seasons or at max 3 seasons coming out. So I think technology is not the barrier here. The barrier is again, how do you see, whether you see it as a separate channel, whether you see it as the same channel. From my angle, at least I believe technology is not the barrier.
Thanks. Rajiv, your views?
Yeah, I think again, as I'm saying, is the fact that does the organization as a digital mindset is very critical, because I think one of the offline discussions that we had in the morning was the fact that even today in quite a few organizations you have to really sell the idea of online. In a large, very established, extremely successful offline business, why do I need, and how fast do I need to go into the the online space? That's something which becomes a question. In our kind of a case, because we are smaller, I think we are a little bit more nimbler, and I think right up from my side to the rest of the organization, I think we know that the future is definitely going to be digital. Digital is not the only answer to your retail problems, but digital is one of the key channels that you're going to be creating in future. So right, for example, in the case of assortment planning, we have already started thinking about the kind of assortment that we want to create for the web. We also have started creating products which are very visually pleasing on the internet. For example, printed t-shirts, for example, in certain themes that we can only do best and exclusively. For example, there are some character merchandise that are exclusive to us. There are certain music merchandise exclusive to us. There is the FIFA World Cup coming in. There are certain merchandise which is exclusive to us. So how can I create on the web channel, maybe right now with partner retailers, but certain products which are distinctive, web only sometimes, and at price points which are sweet spot pricing? Because I do believe, while we may say that the web and the physical store is exactly the same, we have seen a propensity to buy products at a slightly lower price point on the internet, especially amongst partner retailers.
So does that mean that one needs to look at a differential pricing strategy if they're looking at omni-channel, the hardcore brick and mortar companies who attain some sort of price positioning?
Yeah, actually, since I'm a student in this, actually I'm not the proponent or I'm not the expert at all of this. I keep reading quite a bit of all of this. Yesterday I read a Harvard report on this, and which very clearly mentions the fact that retailers have to grapple with the idea of whether the pricing strategy in physical and online needs to be the same. For example, in the case of online, the variable cost of doing business is extremely high. So actually affording discounting on the internet space is not that easy. Yeah, because single transaction cost is so high. But actually most of the partner retailers that I'm working with right now, working contrarian. They are in fact giving a lot more discounts than what I give in the physical channel. So that's something that one needs to really look at, whether the pricing strategy or promotional strategy has to be the same or different. I believe there has to be some tweaks that need to be done for the internet consumer. And again, as I said, I'm predominantly targeting an urban male, maybe a little affluent consumer in my stores. But on the web channel, I might be talking to top 50, top 60 different cities where people are still understanding the meaning of, they're actually gaining aspiration, but they really do not have as much awareness. And the awareness is being brought to them for the first time through the phone and the internet and the social media. So I think we'll have to take steps, because India is not one country of urban upper middle class people, but India has a lot more people who are accessing your brands at the maybe semi-urban rural areas as well. So I think you need to really look at whether the strategy needs to be exactly the same. I feel there has to be some tweaks for internet.
So whilst we are discussing showrooming, I think Harish was discussing this morning about the showrooming concept, and Arvind was also yesterday. We've also heard about research online and purchase offline. Shiva, are you seeing that in your stores? I.e., is your web sales or your web presence impacting store sales positively?
Showrooming in terms of research online, buy offline, it's quite different. So when it is, no touch and feel required, for example, the mobile as a category, probably all the research happens. And then you may tend to go offline and buy. I think mobile may not be the right example. Automobile is a very, very good example there, where most of the research happens online and buying happens offline. In apparel, it's actually the reverse. Trial happens offline, and probably the sale comes online. But we are a very, very small percentage in the whole game as of now. So impact in terms of any sale impact, I don't think we are observing that or we have experienced that. But there is a small perception shift in terms of it's more driven from the insecurity from the offline business about this whole online, because the perception is that offline. And to some extent it is true also that there is, in online there is a certain amount of higher discounting probably to offset the cost of customer acquisition and such kind of thing. So a consumer tends to walk in and say, "Ye dekho, isme thoda sasta hai." Right? So, I mean that's a reality which we have to look at. But in terms of consumer research, And I want to well back to that leveraging question what you had put. Well, most of the thought process currently from an omni-channel is a lot of steps is towards leveraging the offline stores to improve the delivery at the offer for an online sale or the experience, and also to satisfy that online store or the offline store that I'm also getting you footfalls here by enabling pick and drop kind of thing. Larger game plan for a large retailer like us or a large brand like us or my friend Kashyap and all would come for the first time. We are all experiencing a consumer whose history is true. Shopping history is live from an analytics point of view. Whose details what he gives is precise. I know to the pin code where I'm delivering. Right? Which is not available today. Even most of the CRM programs or loyalty programs which an offline player runs has at best mobile number. Email data is not verified to a great extent. Unless I know you it's a very, very efficient first exit program. Now this is a gold mine actually. Now what we are trying in a very small way is we are asking brand, give us your expansion strategy, store strategy. We will try to run an online campaign and figure out what is the interest for your brand there. Or give us we have not yet, this is a concept stage internally, give us a location or a region where you are not, what this brand, the store is not working. Can we create a youth affinity by getting active digitally? Now this is a good. This is what is going to be the how the digital game or digital channel or digital way or the e-commerce wing of a large retail or large brick and mortar business can actually give back to us. Now that, to my mind, is an extremely strong reason itself to have a very, very strong presence.
I'm sorry we're running out of time. The idea is not that, we're not discussing offline versus online. I think all of us sitting here on this panel concur that, you have to be where the customer is, whether it's offline, online, TV, catalog, you choose your own strategy. There are enough options available in the market, and Abhishek can talk to you about that a little later, how you can integrate technology within, what fits best for your own strategy. And lastly, it's not about channel conflict. Whatever strategies you have, the goal should only be that the channels need to work in harmony. I think on that note, I'm going to thank my panel and open the floor for quick questions because somebody's throwing stones at us.
Hi, I have a question for Kashyap and Pooja. Kashyap, you guys have this click and pick. You guys have just started your omni-channel process by having an e-com and click and pick. How's it really helping you? In terms of traction is one thing. In terms of business, that's one question. Are you incentivizing people to go on your click and pick or buy on your e-com, which most of the offline retailers generally tend to do? Try to offer some discounts so they can go on their retailing site. Pooja, my question to you is, suppose Shoppers Stop is in the couponing system where they issue a coupon with every bill which is generated at Shoppers Stop. I think approximately 8 lakh bills are generated every month at all across Shoppers Stop. That is what my understanding says. So, do you see a traction coming from that couponing, people coming to buy on your site? So, it's like incentivizing. So, do you see that people actually using that coupon and using on your site and buying the merchandise? Are you seeing a better buying basket on your site as compared to offline? Thanks.
I'll let who answer the question first, Kashyap.
Yeah. So to answer your first question, we are seeing, to an extent, yes, we are definitely seeing a traction. There are customers who are ordering online, visiting the nearest Roma store and buying, picking up the deliveries from there. In terms of contribution, if I were to say, from my overall online pie, we are seeing somewhere around close to 5% traction out coming from there itself. But we've just launched this service 2 or 3 months back. We actually started marketing this service recently. I'm not sure if some of you would have seen the campaign. Some of you have traveled by Jet Airways recently. So there is a campaign going on. We started marketing that service even on radio as well. And what we did initially when we rolled out this service was that if you are ordering online, visiting from the nearest store, picking up the delivery from there, here you get a coupon. Primarily yes, because you want to save on your shipping cost. Why not pass on that to the customer? So we are seeing some traction. As I said, it's a journey, and we'll definitely, I would say, ramp up our marketing efforts behind, making the service more prominent. Second point was, can you, please reiterate your second question?
No, I was asking you, do you incentivize, like, giving offers or some special, additional warranty for e-commerce buyers, or, or a special 2-3% discount or 5% discount? Do you do something like that?
For online shoppers.
Only for online shoppers?
Yeah, so, we maintain a price parity between offline and online, but there would be definitely promotional periods where definitely, I would say certain offers would be given to the customer. The advantage to us is that, we already have a significant base of customers who have shopped with us offline at some point in time. So we definitely, use that base, run certain promotional offers to them. It could be coupon driven, it could be price driven, or it could be, I would say, certain merchandise which has been bought only to sell online, and it comes, at definitely far more special price.
How many of you have shopped in a Shoppers Stop store in the past? Quite a few. How many of you have seen the 15% off coupon that you get? Very few. So that's to answer your question. Coupon overall is less than 1/4 of our business today. We are not even we've not exploited the coupon route intentionally, very aggressively. But the coupons that we give in our cash memos, I think, are not loud enough. So very soon we'll be trying a different method, and the idea again is not to promote couponing but to encourage our existing customers to shop online. So once we do that pilot, I'll let you know the results thereof, but as a percentage it's very small right now. And to answer about your average transaction value, online ATVs are currently about 10% lower than what it is in the stores, but still fairly heavy. If you look at fashion sites, we're tracking at about 3,000 rupees.
Thanks.
Hello. Sorry. Hello. My question is to Kashyap. Can you tell me, would you in the future use Flipkart as a marketplace to promote Chroma's product? If yes, why? If no, why?
Interesting one. So, I think Flipkart is a wrong example. Yes, we are definitely present on marketplace. Chroma today is definitely present even on marketplace. So, when it comes to eBay or Amazon, we are definitely present out over there. And we are selling pretty much loud and bold out over there. Why to be present on those marketplaces? Few reasons. One, it creates a viral traction for Chroma, because all said and done, yes, today Chroma is a very strong brand in this country, but I would call it in an offline space. In online space, maybe I would still say that consumer today is still not aware that, okay man, you know what, Chroma is also having an e-commerce site. And as I said, in one of my statements that, I am not really blessed by burning venture capital money. So I have to generate traction on my website. How to generate that traction? Definitely if you are present on the marketplace where there is a significant traction of traffic coming over there, and if customers see Chromas over there, at least fine, there's a traction which is getting built. Again, through marketplace, the orders are shipped by Chroma themselves. So when the shipment goes out, the invoices and everything is of Chroma. So customer comes to know that, okay, fine, there is a presence of Chroma online. So one reason primarily is to build that viral. Second is it brings scale of economy. It adds up to our buying power. And I would say that there are certain stock lots or certain products which are purchased only to be sold online through e-commerce channel. By also going on to marketplaces, it helps to add up onto the scale of economy.
I'm sorry, we'll have time for just one more question.
Yeah. So I think maybe either Pooja or Shiva or Kashyap, anyone of you can answer this. And correct me if the perspective is actually wrong. But when we get up there on stage, I think the commitment from offline brands, offline retailers towards digital looks far higher than what it is when it's off stage. So it's kind of it's a bit of a cliche, and I'm not. It's not a take on you guys. I think you are actually in a more compromised situation that you are the ones who are the evangelists of this concept within your firms and trying to build that. What Shiva said that it's a big learning curve to kind of convince them. But what is the what we want to understand is that there is, whether you speak to the chairman of your company or you speak to the e-manager, I have never heard a conversation where anybody is debating or doubting the importance of e-retail and how this is going to be a pie which is going to grow disproportionately faster than the growth of the offline pie, right? If that be the case, why is not there serious commitment to make, is there a commitment within your firms which says 2017, 15% of the business will come through e-retail, and here's $150 million parked on the side or $100 million parked, and your brands afford that, right? It's not that they don't afford it, right? Is it a commitment issue, or is it a belief issue that they still don't believe in a medium, or is it an understanding issue? Because it's kind of it's not very clear, right? Because everybody says, yeah, it's great, but then are your actions reflecting that?
So, are Kashyap answer this or Shiva?
So I think both of us can answer actually, and that will give a different perspective from. So you're right, Harish, that when we are on this side, there's definitely big talks going on, but when we go on that side, the action is not coming up. I think there are multiple challenges. All the old economic companies, you said in the morning about why big boys are not going online. The challenge is all the old economic companies are due to work in a particular mindset. That's a single biggest challenge. And Pooja, please allow me to say this very brutally because we had discussed this in the morning. The single biggest challenge is clearly the mindset at the top, be it at the chairman or be it above that. And why I am calling old economic companies is because that belief has to be there that people do shop online. So someone who is sitting at that top level, okay, has not experienced it at all. So his belief is very thin in that, very low in that. So yes, it all starts from there in all old economic companies, and mindset remains a challenge. However, assuming, let's say, if even the mindset part gets resolved, then there is a next challenge, because to do something, okay, it's just not e-commerce. It's a change management that you have to bring at every stages, at every levels in the company. I'm talking about even the sales guy who is there on the floor in the brick side selling it to the last mile. The change management has to come down to that level, which means the rubber has to hit the road. So execution has to be seamless and much more stronger. That is another big challenge, because a traditional brick company again is accustomed to work in a particular manner. It's a human nature, change is not appreciated. So when you try to do that, even if the mindset gets aligned, okay, that's another challenge which comes. So that's another roadblock. Third biggest roadblock, typically, looking at the current brick scenario in India and taking into an example of, maybe I would say Shopper Stop, Chroma, and any of these guys. there is already a significant investment which has been pumped behind establishing the brick chain already so far. So now all these companies are definitely, into building a strong business model, which means now the questions are coming around. Boss, there is so much of investment which has gone behind building brick chains. So boss, abhi profit dikha hoga. Where is the profitability? Correct? Now in that situation, okay, you decide suddenly to start online business, and online someone sitting at the topmost level thinks that what is online business? यार एक website खड़ा करना है ना, website चालू कर दो, शुरू हो गया. No one understands what goes behind, putting up in terms of setting up the online business. That is also an investment hungry business. So in that situation, what happens? There is already a significant investment gone behind building the brick chain. And then you land up saying that, okay fine, I want to start online. Online means website chalu karna hai. And then you realize, oh man, this business also needs investment. And then the question comes around profitability. So,
Harish, can I also just butt in actually? I think if I have to speak for my management, we are very serious. There's probably more lip service to it than actual action. But we started from the top, like you said in your presentation, we made changes on our board of directors, and we've got e-com specialists on our board now. We've got Mr. Rakesh Bajaj, and I think management recognizes it. We are very clear we're not in the race for the bottom. We're not here to make losses. We want to build a sustainable business for our customers. It may take time, and that's what happened even in the Western world. But like someone very wise said, picture abhi baki hai dost. So it's going to happen.
So that's also adding to these points. At the top, they are not actually consumers of digital. I mean, I'm sure you would have, maybe you have a large experience here. When we used to send digital media with the brand managers there, he was not using it. So it was very difficult for us to sell digital to them. The moment the managers got replaced by younger guys who consume digital media, it became this. However, having said that, there is a slight shift here in Indian perspective. Unlike Western world, where the large LRFs or formats were matured when the online started kicking in India they do realize when they see numbers that it's actually incremental business coming in. The tier 3, the economics of reaching out to tier 3 cities does not allow them to build a profitable retail business there, right? So they do understand this, but yes, this change is a very, very painful process of bringing in.
Thank you very much, esteemed panel. I think they're threatening to pull out lunch. So with this, we end the session here. Thank you.